Who is your daddy and what does he do? My dad is a composer, pianist, guitarist. Ness and Desperate Housewives. Played music on Broadway for shows such as Finding Neverland, The SpongeBob Musical, Jagged Little Pill, and he currently is the lead pianist for Cirque du Soleil's Kateo. He also gave Dwayne Johnson a guitar lesson for the game plan, so his name appears in the special thanks section of that movie. He was also friends with Mark Ruffalo before he became a big-time actor. So yeah, my dad's pretty cool. My dad's my hero, honestly. Taught me so much of what I know. So much of what I love: sports, games, nature, fishing. He sprouted my love for Boston sports and my competitiveness. He lives a few hours up north, retired, living with his brother. He's doing okay. Bit worried for him, and don't see him as much as I'd like, but we frequently chat on Discord and watch either sports or movies and shows, and I love those times. Everyone deserves to have a dad who loves them and teaches them life. My dad was a chaplain at the VA hospital. He helped and counseled a lot of people. He retired a few years before he was killed by a drunk driver while riding his motorcycle. During his life, outside of work, he continued to help everyone he could, whether it was cleaning gutters or taking people to appointments. He spent his last years waking up pretty much whenever he wanted and doing whatever he wanted to. He was also awesome at pool and taught my brother how to really play. An Arab gangster wannabe who finessed my mum into thinking he is worth a damn. 20 years of marriage later, and minor siblings, he is now collecting unemployment for fraudulent health claims and lives alone across the polar opposite of the country where we lived. Still love him, though wouldn't be the man I am today without him. Just don't want anything to do with him. My biological dad. I have no idea where he is, but he's an awful person, so I don't really mind. My stepdad used to do deliveries and drive for a living, but he had a stroke on Boxing Day last year, and he's currently not able to use his right side. He's going through rehabilitation, and he's been home out of the hospital for a month. My mum is a French-Canadian queen, and my dad is an army rat. Mainly a rat coward who went AWOL during his time at Vietnam. Faked his own death now twice, but thrice during the span of 18 months, and gave away the names and locations of over 1,000 of his comrades. For that he received the Black Heart, Congressional Medal of Dishonor. My dad used to work overseas to support our family. That's the reason why I wasn't able to spend more time with him. When he retired, he passed away. It's like time didn't give us the chance to at least bond and know each other deeply. I miss him so much. If I would ask for something, it would be to spend time with him. My dad was one of 13 children. He seminary and dropped out with 1 semester remaining. Enrolled at Ohio State where he got his law degree, and after entering the FBI where he retired as the agent in charge of the Cincinnati office. He was a hell of a great and kind guy. Overweight, diagnosed with COPD, will not take care of himself. Handle a vodka a day. Lives his mom. Full of excuses and really leaning into the Bible thumping, and he is quite racist. So, I guess to answer what does he do? Absolutely fucking nothing. The US government, it's a real hate-hate relationship. He beats me every chance he gets. But once a year I get a chance at some financial compensation around March or April. But he just beats me harder during those months too. He passed away in 2015 from infection following a successful triple bypass surgery. He worked for the railroad, CSX. His last 23 years before retirement was spent in the somewhat cushy job of track inspector. Ad works as a sales manager in Porsche of Las Vegas, and drives a 2023 Mercedes-Benz SL63 AMG and a BMW N5 Com. Also, he placed an order for AS6. My dad works at Porsche but doesn't drive a Porsche. My father is retired. He worked in a coal mine for 35 years. When I was a small kid, I asked him to bring me some coal, and he really did bring me few fist-sized pieces in a small grocery bag. My dad just sits around all day and does nothing. So annoying. Granted, he's just Ash now. But come on. He could pitch in a little rent since I'm letting him live on my bedside table for free. He's Wallace and he's a retired teacher. He's fairly unassuming, but he's a hard worker and very loyal. He's a great guy and an amazing poppy to my kids. I'm thankful he's in my life. My dad is a normal, hard-working person who always sacrificed himself for his family, and I wish that someday I lions be able to pay him back in some way and make his life easier. Vietnam vet. Retired Air Force turned handyman for hire. He died a couple years ago. I didn't find out until 6 weeks after. We weren't close. I wasn't good enough for him. He is a bus driver, and sometimes I get lucky and see him during his job when I'm going to uni in the mornings or coming back home from it. Love my dad. My father is an elder in a cult. I don't believe in the same imaginary friend as he does so. He has shunned me for 10 years. What does he do? He's a cunt. Mine has been working in the same boring office job for 28 stories about his job are so boring, but I'm glad he is employed and stuff, I guess. What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he rich like me? My daddy isn't doing anything, at least not on planet Earth. Hasn't for decades. Never understood how grown adults call their parents my mummy or my daddy. Just sounds so awkward. Is this just a southern thing? A deadbeat who abandons his kids when they're about 5 years old. Did it to my older half-brother, then myself, then my younger brother. Fuck him. Deadbeat-eyed, but I'm back owed more than a decade of child support from this asshole that started another family who he actually takes care of. My dad unfortunately passed, but he knew how to do two things. Make a thing go fast, or make it go kaboom. Both were equally enjoyable. My dad is retired military and a Vietnam vet. He likes horses, trivia night at the American Legion, and collecting beer steins. My dad died in 2018. He was a mechanical engineer, an MBA, and invented scientific toys and gadgets. My daddy was Gary and he was a director at the Consumer Protection Agency. But now he spends his days in an urn on my shelf. Haven't seen my father since my senior prom, graduated in 2013. He was a drug dealer. Last I heard of him, he was in prison. Daddy was a baker, but then he became dad and was a salesman. Then he became slightly unalived when I was 22. I miss him. My dad is a retired high school teacher and IT guy. He spends his days thinking about getting out on a golf course. My father is a cop who is currently undercover as a kindergarten teacher trying to infiltrate a drug lord. Relevant song. He's in waste management, for crying out loud. He's not. I just saw that chance to say this. My daddy is a Jedi Knight. Or was, rather. He's long since passed on into the living force. My dad looks like Super Mario. Coincidentally, he's a piping designer in the oil industry. My dad is retired, but works on lawnmowers as a hobby. He's always there when I need him. My dad works for the city of El Paso as a... I forgot. It's a bald, short guy. The best man I'd ever known. Looks down and worries about his kids probably. He's drunk in a gutter, that's what he does. That's drunk in a gutter. Mine retired a multi-millionaire and is living his best life in his late 50s. He's lying in a box underground. He stopped breathing about 4 years ago. He is an old out-of-work cowboy. And he is an old out-of-work cowboy. My daddy's a narc, and my daddy's almost made me drown when I was 5. Cool. My dad was a school superintendent. Such a smart, caring man, miss him. My dad is he looks at vaginas all day long. My daddy is a gynecologist. He looks at vaginas all day long. My old man is another child that's grown old, it's not a tumor. My dad is a CIA agent and he is on deployment in Afghanistan. You wouldn't know him. He died a little over a year ago. I think he is in sugar business or something like that. My dad is my dad and he pretends he doesn't have kids. He's a felon, he's currently between jail sentences. No idea on either. He left when my mum was pregnant. My dad is fucking annoying, and I'm exactly like him. A selfish narcissist who doesn't bother with his kids.